Guys, this is a big debate. Strata levies and the huge cost of strata compared to a house. I have the debate always with my mum, with clients. It's a big one. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning.
How are you, Billy Bob?
I'm good. You're live from the big smoke.
From the big smoke, this strata levy thing is a really big thing. And I must admit, people in my life, around my life, sort of are often inquisitive and poking around it, because if you're living in a house, you often think, you know what, I'm too scared of these strata levies. I don't want these fixed costs. They are rolling in hardcore every quarter. They cost me money. And we wanted today to weigh up that difference with everyone, just to show, is it really like a rip-off, or is it actually normal, or is it actually cheaper? So we're going to weigh up all the different costs. What is strata? How much does it normally cost? That sort of stuff.
And I think it's definitely something that if you haven't been brought up in, if you're not used to strata, and it doesn't mean strata is not an apartment, always. It can be a townhouse. It can be, a lot of different titles, so to speak. But if it's something that you were not raised in, which, like my mum and dad, for example, coming over from the UK, I think it seemed a bit backwards at the start. It's like, why am I paying more for rates now when I've always had a home where you don't pay anything? So it's definitely like a psychology thing, I think, behind it as well.
Now, morning, Jeff. Morning, Luke. Look, I know that I think the hardest thing with houses is it's invisible. It's invisible, but it's definite. It's there. The costs are definitely there, but it's fairly invisible. Upon buying a property, an agent straight away shows you a list, and on that list they say you must pay council, you must pay water, you must pay strata. What is strata? But when you're buying a house, you're not told those fixed costs on a house. You're only told the fixed cost, which is council and water. So one can only assume they've been kicked in the guts.
Yeah, and I like, before we open up this conversation, a good little one-liner here is strata levies are compulsory, maintenance is voluntary on a house, which does really nail it.
Can you say that again? Because I think this is a big part of the conversation. Huge. Go.
Yeah. Strata rates are compulsory. Yeah. House maintenance is voluntary.
Right. So the real question is, when you own a house, what are the things that, yes, they're voluntary, but you really should treat the discipline as compulsory? Example, on a house, you would always want to insure the house against fire, against flood, whatever it may be. So you'll take out your insurance policy. What a lot of people miss within strata, and look, I think I don't personally know, but I reckon most Australians would have their houses insured. Now with strata, it's compulsory to have the insurance policy taken out for the building. So you don't actually pay as an individual, you pay it and it's built into your strata fees. So straight away, that sort of starts making strata look a little bit cheap when you go, shit, I didn't know building insurance was included in that.
It's actually makes up the majority of the cost. So there's three parts to your strata rates. Your capital works fund, which is your kitty, so to speak, that goes towards the property. Your admin fund, which pays the wage of the strata managers that looks after everything. And let's face it, they're professionals in their jobs. They definitely do a better job of organising everything on point every year than you could, your own property, mate.
And don't forget, within that admin fund is the landscaping, gardening, the
Yeah.
vacuuming of foyers or cleaning of foyers.
Yeah.
Is the get this one, strata water usage. So
Yeah.
often when you're in a strata building, Billy, you're in a strata building of 5, 6.
Yep.
Have
6.
you ever got when you get a water rate, is it a fixed cost or does it change?
Me personally, it's fixed. I only see the lot.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a big one. Most stratas, you will get a fixed cost water. Where is the usage?
Yeah, do you know what? I do take great pride in washing my car on the shared usage.
Right. So when you're paying your strata levies, you are also more often than not paying for your water usage within your strata, not within your water bill. So the water
Yeah.
bill will pay the service cost to the building to get it to the building, and then usage they will pull within the strata levies for usage, and they'll pay that independently. So the new generation buildings, probably the last 4 years, they've been putting a meter for every unit. But in the last 50, 60 years, it's just pulled. So now we're starting to break down strata, and now we're starting to see how strata is starting to look a little bit cheaper when you start going boom, 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 boom with those costs. And then you look at a house, you go, well, if that was a house, I'd be paying that stuff anyway, probably. But what did you say? It's not compulsory.
Yeah. The other thing we get is, like, a lot of people, they understand they have to pay strata, but how much is too much? We've had a quick look this morning. Strata rates range between 0.7, 0.8% up to about 1.2, 1.3% of the property's value. But I think that's also skewed by the amount of apartments in the block. Location, obviously, some locations are more prone to things like concrete cancer and need a little bit more maintenance. But I think that's helpful for people to think, is that in the range, or is that well off? And if it's well off, then why?
And I think it's important for people to know that the money doesn't get burnt or buried. It gets
really
managed.
like that.
You know what I mean? It gets managed and it gets spent within the building. The management cost is minuscule compared to the rest of the costs. So say the management cost is at 3, 4, 5%, the other 95% is going to be invested in insurance, in water usage, in maintenance in the building, in potential repairs. That sinking fund that they have is an incredible thing, because it's compulsory savings for a rainy day to do major repairs. Example, if you know in strata that your building is going to need a roof in 10 or 15 years, they will start building that sinking fund towards the roof replacement. They'll start building that sinking fund to garage door replacement. They'll start building that sinking fund to remedial work. So you generally don't have that discipline when you own a house.
It's true. And all of this stuff adds value as well. So although it's ongoing maintenance, it's a lot of these older buildings are benefiting from new balconies, makes it look so much nicer. Or it's new garage doors that makes it look nicer. Letterboxes. It's all these little things that adds value.
It sounds like we're really pro strata by what we've been talking about. Can we talk about the negative?
Let me bring it back. Yeah. So strata levies are compulsory. Building insurance seems to form a lot of that. Yeah, obviously common area maintenance is included. The owners committee must account for how levies are collected and spent. An annual meeting of owners is required. So if you just want to be left alone to do your own thing, yes, you can opt out of not being involved with those meetings, but you're still sort of part of it. They're still going to put they're still going to put the minutes in your letterbox.
So if you're in a little 1-bedroom, you can expect to pay $500-600 a quarter. If you're in a 2-bedroom, you can expect to pay $800 to $1,000 a quarter. If you're in a 3-bedroom, you can expect to pay sort of $1,000 to $1,500 a quarter. If there's a lift in the building, you're going to pay a little bit more, probably an extra 10 or 20% more in your strata. There's, on balance, it's a fixed cost that's there. But I do have to say, and the thing that I struggle with as a real estate agent, talking to people the most is, like, for instance, the older people that are moving over to strata. It really does their head in, and no one actually takes the time to break down strata and what is paid for within strata. I think it's a big myth that we've talked about today. If you can share it with friends and family, this talk today, to help them along. If they don't understand, it's great, but there is an efficiency to it. We are one of the best in the world at running multi-unit dwellings with the strata system. The strata system was invented in Australia. It's been copied worldwide, and it is one of the most superior ways to run multi-unit buildings in the world. It's highly respected the way we do it in Australia. Sometimes in some countries you are off to court when there is a problem. We don't have that court problem here. We deal with it internally. We have systems, regulations, and rules and bylaws. And if that we go off to sort of in a tribunal situation to just work it out. So there's not huge legal bills in some countries. There are.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. Luke's commented here. People in New South Wales, strata doesn't have to raise the capital fund amounts listed in the Capital Works forecast report. That report you can find in pretty much all strata reports when you're buying a property. That's something to look out for as well. It'll give you the 10-year forecast. That's compulsory in every plan, and can give you insight to what's coming up down the line.
And we have done a show previously on. Previously, we've done a show on buying a bad building. So even though the strata may be good in terms of the way it's being managed, but the building may be a shit fight if it's in disrepair for the way it was built, sometimes there is an opportunity there for buyers where they can capitalise on that. So just be clever when you're buying strata. But I just want to crush that today, that myth on that cost, because there is an efficiency. I'll give you one example of many. You're an older lady in your 70s. You're maintaining a 700 metre square block of land. You're getting lawn maintenance and garden maintenance as part of that. That guy's charging you $5,000 a year for that privilege, or say $3,000 a year to come and do your lawns, $50 a week or whatever that may be. Yeah. Now, when you move that across to strata, assume it's a 700 metre square block of land, assume that it's a block of 4, you are now going to be sharing that similar maintenance. So you're going to be sharing that $2,500, $3,000 divided by 4. So there's actually a really, really cool efficiency to it. You're starting to divide your bills by 4 because you're in a block of 4 where you normally would have paid for the whole lot.
That's it. There certainly is some logic to it, and that's why it's very popular.
Big time. So guys and girls, there's your show today on strata levies. Do not be scared of strata levies. In conclusion to everything that we've spoken about, have a good look at what exactly goes into that. And I think more often than not, you will find you will be paying that within a house, if not that year, within a couple of years later. And strata's is that making you pay that compulsory all the time along the way, whereas sometimes you can abstain from doing a roof in your personal home, not save for it quarterly for it, and then be whacked 15, 20 grand to put a new roof on your house in 15 years' time. But strata's different. They will compulsory take money for you for that 15-year project. So it's not being burnt and it's not being buried.
That's the wrap. Thanks, Mark.
See you, buddy.